A top of 22 expected today. Friday, cloudy and 23. Sunny on Saturday, a top of 28. Mostly sunny Sunday, heating up to 32. Then sunny for Monday and Tuesday with temperatures in the high 20s. More news as it happens here on 5AA.
Peter Godfrey on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
6 minutes past 5. Temperature still at 16 degrees at the moment. And let's head across the ditch now. Take a look at what's happening there. I think we do know what's happening there, though, somehow. Selwyn Manning's with us, editor of EveningReport.nz. Selwyn, is there anything happening in New Zealand besides all the excitement over the All Blacks and their win?
Well, I wanted to give you guys a bit of a break instead of gloating in the glory of the All Blacks World Cup win. But honestly, Peter, there's not too much, that one can kind of centre on. Even Charles and Camilla, Prince Charles and Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, they arrived yesterday, but they were way down the news pecking order.
Oh, so the 25,000 people that were gathered at Victoria Park weren't there for Charles and Camilla?
No, not at all. There were a few humble royalists that were down in Wellington, but the All Blacks, they dominate the news totally this week, and I guess it'll wheedle off a little bit, particularly considering the Black Caps are playing over there in the Gabba beginning today. But there were tens of thousands of people that were lining the streets yesterday just to get a glimpse of their sporting heroes. The All Blacks, they were received also back here by about 2,000 people cheering at Auckland International Airport, and I think you might have a bit of a clip of the haka that was performed
there. Now, this was on Sky News. There's a video of it on there, and just you could sort of just hear those background noises of an airport with the sort of that whining of the jet engine, and see all the staff out there in their high-vis vests doing the haka. That added another whole level to it. But here it is, and then some of the sounds of them being greeted like rock stars. Here it is. Let's have a listen. Oh, sounds reminiscent of a rock stars arriving at the airport.
Yeah, exactly, doesn't it? So you get a picture. I can't explain it any better than that soundtrack, Peter. It was a really cool thing, really, for the All Blacks. Obviously, they were touched by the aircraft pulling, Air New Zealand 747 pulling up at the tarmac there, and the Air New Zealand staff, all the ground crew and everybody there, just on the tarmac doing a massive haka. I thought it was a fitting tribute to the guys. They pretty much have done a good job over there, not just on the sport field, but also in the way that they conducted themselves with people. But later in the day, around midday, 25,000 people approximately gathered at Victoria Park in the Auckland CBD, kind of near the heart of Auckland. And they officially welcomed the All Blacks home. Now, the event was live-streamed throughout the country, and the head coach, Steve Hansen, he said there to the crowd that it was an honour to be associated, obviously, with the team, but he also said it was a special honour for him and the other guys to bring the smiles to millions of faces back home. And I guess that's what it was all about. They said it really made it worthwhile, the last 4 years in preparing for these last 8 weeks of this World Cup. So it's the celebrations are continuing on. The All Blacks are going to be touring this Webb Ellis Trophy, the World Cup, the gold-plated World Cup. It's named after Webb Ellis, the guy that was a young schoolboy, and they were playing soccer up there in England, and he thought, no, this isn't for me, and he picked the ball up and he ran to the goalpost and placed the ball down, and that was the birth of rugby. And the cup's named after him. So it's going to be toured right around the country. I understand that it will be down in the heart of rugby country in the South Island over the next couple of days in Canterbury. That's where the captain Richie McCaw comes from, Peter, and a lot of the other team are certainly there. It's a big sporting province, is Canterbury, and then it's going to start touring around a little bit around the country, although it looks like officially Dunedin, right down in the south of the South Island, is going to miss out, which people in Dunedin are a bit upset about. But Yeah. The other thing is, of course, though, there wasn't such a warm reception for Prince Charles and Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall. It was frosty, in fact, with the temperature as they flew into. Well, it was a rocky ride into this notoriously windy capital here in New Zealand, Wellington. For those listeners of yours that may have had the chance of flying in to Wellington, on most days it's hair-raising experience, with the planes being thrown about by the wind.
Oh,
now, poor old Camilla, apparently, she's a bit afraid of flying.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, and she looked absolutely shaken when navigating her way down the New Zealand Air Force's Boeing 757 steps. And, then later on, short time later, she placed a ponga leaf, which is the silver fern, on the tomb of the unknown warrior there in Wellington. She was joined, and Prince Charles was joined by a very smiling Prime Minister, John Key. Of course,
he will be there, yeah.
Yes, he was there, definitely. And there was an official welcoming reception at Government House. So they are in the country. Why they're here, Peter, I'm not too sure. I think it might be something to do with reassuring the people that while John Key is pushing for a flag change, he's definitely not trying to sever its monarchistic ties to the British royalty.
Okay, and how long are they there in New Zealand?
Oh, yeah, about a week, I think.
About a week, okay.
Yeah, it's been such low news considering this rugby domination that it's really hard to actually figure that out.
Yeah, the story on them's, bottom corner of page 27 after all the rugby news.
Yeah, there might be something about some tight scrum that was being played in some obscure game somewhere, and that took that place.
That's why, yeah. Oh, goodness me. Well, I think Tuesday we've got them here for about half a day, so only very fleeting visit for Adelaide. Half
a day. And is it I know there's, with Malcolm Turnbull being Prime Minister, there's more of a talk about the Republic movement, is that correct?
Well, there has been. I mean, he only in the last few days announced that the Knights and Dames that Tony Abbott reintroduced early last year, they're being scrapped. They're being done away with. So that's sort of brought out the pro-monarchy people to say, well, is this sort of a clandestine way of moving towards a republic?
Yes. It's a gutsy move, isn't it? Over here, Helen Clark, when she was Prime Minister, a Labor-led government, of course, she got rid of the Knights and Dames, those honours, replaced them with New Zealand ones. As soon as John Key came in, the Nationals into power, they reinstated them, just like Tony Abbott did. Yeah. Although they didn't give the Queen's husband a knighthood. So there is speculation as to if there's a change of government back to Labour, would they get rid of them again and start back on that track toward full independence? So it's a gutsy move, isn't it, by Malcolm Turnbull? Obviously,
actually, I don't know that it'd be a gutsy move because there was so much criticism of Abbott when he brought them in that it was, and the fact that he didn't consult with anyone in the cabinet. It was the captain's pick. It was just his decision, and I think all the members of the Liberal Party were as stunned as the rest of the country when it was announced. So
and the Nationals are happy with that over there.
I haven't heard anything from them. No, I haven't heard any response from them. No, I don't think that. Well, I haven't heard anything, so I don't know. But apparently the Queen was okay with it. She was advised and accepted the decision, so...
Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll just take a quick break, then we'll be back with, an interesting story about how some Aussies see New Zealand after visiting there.
Yeah, a bit of a tongue-in-cheek one.
Some good things there. We'll have a laugh at that in a moment. Steve, right back with you. Selwyn Manning's with us, editor of the EveningReport.nz.
5AA Breakfast.
Chris Pine and the Shadow Minister, Anthony Albanese. Thank you so much for joining us here on 5AA Breakfast. Guys, you got a bit of form with this over the years. You've done stints on the Today Show. You do a bit of stuff on Sydney radio, so you can get stuck into each other as much as you want.
We might get stuck into you instead.
Hang on. That's not how this is meant to play out. Fair enough.
5AA Breakfast. Weekday mornings from 6 on 1395. Adelaide's 5AA.
Hi, my name is Tony, and I reckon I can floor you. I'm the exclusive agent for Rotowash Floor Cleaners in Adelaide. Rotowash are simply the world's best floor cleaners, creating the finest first impressions in hospitals, airports, shopping centres and homes everywhere. Enjoy clean floors forever. I'm so confident you'll be floored by the results. I will come to your home or work and give you a no-obligation free on-site demo. Roto Wash, the clever cleaner. Call me on 8390 0224 or go to floorcleaningmachines.com.au.
Why do so many South Australians select Selector Homes to build their transportable home? Walk into the grand at their display in Burton and you'll see. You won't just see, you'll feel. 9-foot ceilings, character-style finishes, quality. You'll feel at home. You'll also feel great knowing all the costs are up front with a fixed price, and the person who met you will be the same person who hands you your keys. Select your new home at selectorhomes.com.au.
On your marks, get set. It's Agostino Mitsubishi's run-in, run-out demo clearance sale. Agostino Mitsubishi is overstocked with demos and they all have to go, go, go. Plus, they're offering huge dollars for your trade-in. It's Agostino Mitsubishi's run-in, run-out demo clearance sale on now with massive trade-in offers. Hurry, it's all got to clear. Run into Agostino Mitsubishi today and run out a winner. Check out agostinomitsubishi.com.au.
Anthony Toop on Team Toop.
30 years in real estate feels old. But the best part about it is we've got the next generation. So suddenly this old business, which is really experienced with lots of results and a great track record, is suddenly just catapulted with energy and enthusiasm. It's so exciting. Having a business that all act as one is a cultural thing. And to have a good culture, you need very strong leadership and you need to understand what the goals are and what everyone's about. The customer knows exactly what they're going to get. Toop.com.au.
You know how some car drivers get fixed price servicing? Well, now Scania truck drivers can too. Scania Trucks in Wingfield is offering very competitive fixed price servicing for all Scanias, and services are performed by factory trained experts to ensure your Scania remains 100% Scania, because they only use genuine Scania parts. So give Erin a call on 8406 0200 and find out just how competitively priced Scania servicing can be. Scania Trucks at Wingfield. Fixed price servicing, 100% pure Scania, 110% happy.
1395, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Peter Godfrey.
18 minutes past 5. We're talking with Selwyn, editor of EveningReport.nz. All that's happening in New Zealand at the moment. Now, a little bit of a lighter topic for us this morning, Selwyn.
Yeah.
Some comments Aussies have made about New Zealand after visiting there that have appeared on stuff.co.nz, Fairfax's online website. Some interesting comments there.
There is, Peter, yeah. And now the original list was compiled on traveller.com.au, so this Fairfax has picked up on that and had a bit of a laugh itself. So,
now, was that one the list 20 things that will surprise first-time visitors? I saw that one on that website.
Yeah, no, it was similar.
Similar.
What it was, was basically in the comments kind of thing. And I think it was top 20 or something like that. Yeah. Now, what was going on about here is that one of them there is one Aussie put over in New Zealand, not everyone drives Holdens. Utes don't have rhubars on them. There is no red dust and no smell of gum trees. And most pubs don't have Aussie beer on tap.
They what? They don't have Aussie beer? What's going on, Selwyn?
So, look, what I can do there is I can help people out. You know, you can go to any off-licence or bottled store or whatever, and there will be decent Aussie beer all through there, even the boutique beer. And some pubs, if you hunt them out, they'll have it on tap.
Oh, okay.
They'll even have Castlemaine 4X there if you ask for it.
Okay. Well, I've got to say, I think a lot of Aussies would probably like the idea that, no utes with rhubars on them over there. You know, they are a bit of a bone of contention here at times, especially ones that drive through the metropolitan area.
In the 70s and 80s, there was quite a move to have the bars on the front, but we called them bull bars because, of course, we've got no kangaroos here, so we've got a lot of cows. Yeah. So, they were called bull bars, but that seems to have gone out of favour here at the moment. But, there's an interesting little juxtaposition there. Another one says, just give Auckland a miss. That's my advice. It may be New Zealand's biggest city, but it's also the most soulless and poorly planned city in the so-called first world.
Ooh. How does that make you feel as an Auckland resident?
Yeah, born and bred Aucklander. I think, wow, come on, you haven't gone to Waiheke Island that Peter Godfrey and I talked about last week.
Yes, right off the coast of Auckland. Dear, oh dear.
but no, there is an issue with town planning. I guess it's the same in all of our countries, isn't it? Sometimes going into Rotorua, the tourist mecca down there, with its geysers, it's like a mini Yellowstone National Park. And going in there, you kind of think, oh, isn't there another place to have all the small business kind of things? But having said that, there's another thing there. It's kind of talking about how New Zealand has no snakes, doesn't have poisonous. Well, it's got one poisonous spider, but I've never seen one in my whole life. It's called the caterpillar spider. But apart from that, there are no animals that are going to eat you, apart from the odd wild pig out there in the bush. It says, but there's a warning, a caution actually, and it's a really sensible one. It says that the New Zealand bush can be deadly. People have been swept away by rivers. That's true, isn't it, Peter? We've talked about that in our time in these bulletins. Caught by hypothermia, that's absolutely true. And people have just simply got lost and never found their way back to civilization. Okay. That's absolutely true. And a lot of people here say it's not the predator on the outside that will get you in the New Zealand wilderness. It's the fear and the predator inside.
Oh,
so you've got to get your core sorted out both physically and emotionally and mentally before you take on those kind of things. So that's actually a really good one. And the other thing was something on the accent. Now, Peter, you probably have a better judge of this, but I kind of thought that Australians do this as well. But they're saying that Kiwis drop the ER at the end of words like mother.
Well, we shorten so many words, dropping the end of it off. That's a very Australian thing to shorten everything. Not just dropping ER. We shorten people's names. Robert's always Robbo, or we shorten and put an O on the end of it, or Davo.
Davo. I even had a dog, didn't I, Peter, called Jacko.
Oh, that's right, Jacko. Yeah, very Aussie name.
Yeah. So, this person, maybe it was an American who had snuck into Australia.
Could have been.
Left the note there. But it says like mother, father, later, meaning see you later.
So like it's spelt with an A on the end.
But the other thing was New Zealand has 30 million sheep. That's the lowest level we've had since 1982. It peaked at 70 million sheep back in 1982, but 30 million sheep at the moment, and only 4.5 million people. And the question was, so why is a lamb chop so expensive in New Zealand? And I've got to say, Peter, that when I've been over in Australia, the price of food is refreshingly cheap compared to here. And I put it down to the 15% GST on everything, including food, essential services. Everything in New Zealand's got that whacked on. There's a cautionary note there for you guys as you can consider your GST. That's a big thing over here. Produce, food, everything.
Yeah, that is a big topic at the moment as to any changes in it. So, and that's an interesting point. So there was no. Are there any exemptions on GST with anything?
No,
nothing whatsoever.
Everything that is consumed, sold, produced, obviously purchased, but services, everything.
Everything, 15%.
So that's been really hard. Without getting down into the depths of the politics of it, it's been very hard on those who, haven't got a big income. Now, it's supposed, the consumption part. And the other thing is when consumption drops down in a country, then the GST take starts to not make the mark, and cuts to essential services start to show up, government services, things like that. And that's the problem with GST. So the balance between it, what we've found, because we've had GST in since the 80s, what we've found is the balance between the progressive income-related taxation and GST, that's got to be exactly right. And I think you guys are on the right track if you're going to have GST that you keep, okay, I'm a Kiwi saying it from a board, but from our experience looking across, we think, well, on food and things like that, that's a much fairer system than what we got here.
Okay, so that one's perhaps a fair criticism of New Zealand.
yeah, that was a fair one. And then there's the slangs. There's so much that we share in slangs, between the two countries. And there was one that showed up. Someone said that they'd heard this slang, mad as a gum digger's dog. Now, up here in Auckland, we kind of say dry as a gum digger's dog, and that goes back to, the Kauri gum diggers of the turn of the century. Between, and that was a big industry here in New Zealand, and I kind of put it down to, it's often used in the context that it just shows that, any grumpy old person can kind of cheer up if they're having a decent drink occasionally, give them a decent break or something like that. But dry as a gum digger's dog, it's a big one here, but you guys have got a whole book full of your slangs. I know we enjoy those too.
Yes, they're very good. There we go. And I did see one that did mention that Kiwis are astoundingly friendly. So I think that's a nice one for you guys.
And And then there was another one that said, but don't drop your guard.
Oh, okay.
Which is a sensible thing too. It's like in any city or any province, any town or any rural area, you always got to look after your security. A lot of people kind of get caught out by that. The Kiwi kind of experience is such a positive and fun one. But then, things can go awry, can't they, if you're not watching out? And even for others that do watch out, sometimes things go awry, to the great shame of a lot of people in New Zealand. But on a positive note, and finishing off, Peter, really looking forward to this cricket test. I know you don't like your cricket, but really looking forward to the cricket test between Australia and New Zealand up in the Gabba. So we haven't won, like I was saying on the breakfast program yesterday, we haven't won there since 1985, since Richard Hadley and Martin Crowe were leading our team over there, and that was a fantastic experience that we still enjoy, actually, the reruns of Hadley's bowling, etc., etc. So Sir Richard Hadley is remembered in this one, and maybe New Zealanders can break that drought. We haven't played you guys at Test cricket for 4 years. So there you go.
I think you're pushing it a bit with taking the World Cup away from us. I think you might be pushing to get some support for for your team to win the cricket as well.
I think there'd be wailing in the aisles if we took the cricket away from you guys.
Yeah.
This is a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed it is. All right, so many thanks for joining us this morning. Have a great week, and go the Aussies in the test. That's all I can say.
Fair enough, Peter, fair enough.
Thanks, Selwyn. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah.
Cheers, bye-bye. Selwyn Manning, editor of EveningReport.nz.
G'day, Mark Aston here. Hey, this summer, get your friends around and make some dough. Yep, that's right. We're giving away a Gasmate pizza oven valued at $799. Just tune into Weekends with Michael Keelan and myself from 6 a.m. for your chance to win. Now, when you hear the Gasmate pizza man call out,